afternoon, just about. It's Sunday. Storms are about to come in, I think. It's looking pretty cloudy. One of the kids is a bit sick, so I've got an hour or so to carry on with a bit of patching up this old girl. Now, last time I worked on this, we were cutting out the kidney-shaped... Oh, I can't even remember the name of it. Doesn't matter. A crusty bit of metal inside the car. I'll flip the camera around, show you where we got to and what the plans are. Last time we got up to cutting this out, which belongs, or did belong, here inside the car. Hopefully today it's going to be a matter of templating it, as best you can. I've got a slight curve there that I might be able to use to template the rest of it. I've got to joggle this little bit out, bend it a bit. It's not going to be particularly neat. That's commitment, isn't it? And put it in. It's going to sit in here. I'm a bit annoyed with myself for trying to weld in the inner sill last time on the other side. I shouldn't have done that. I didn't need to do that. In fact, I've made it harder for myself because now I'm going to have to grind it all back and mess around. It was a bit stupid, really. But I just got excited. So once that's in, it's genuinely time to start consider putting the last bits around here in, around the hinge and the inner wing. Maybe we can start on that today. I don't know. But the main job is this. So I'm going to template this up now. Actually, what I'm going to do first is grind off the mess that I made on the inside like a total clown. And then template this. So you'll probably see me when I've templated it. So yeah, tidied that up a little bit. Thankfully my welding was so terrible, it kind of just fell off. So that's good. Cleaned it right up this time. So because I do know I need to weld into here. So that's the plan anyway. I didn't bother going over any of this yet. I will do. That's probably, after I've got this all cobbled together, it's probably a day of just going over things and tidying bits and pieces up. I know I need still to get onto the floor here and tidy that up, tidy that up, finish off the stitching here. I've still got a piece of metal under here that needs welding. There. And you can't see that. So, yeah. So next job right now is, where is it? There it is. Template that bad boy. So I found this old bit of, what is that, new offcut, which was originally for here. Well, I'm not going to use that because this is the original piece. But what it does have is a nice curvy bit that probably sits around about the same profile as what I'm trying to get around for the inner wing. Not only that, I can also, if I want to double check, which I kind of have already, I've got the new part there. So that gives me that slightly tricky part of the scuttle plate. That's what it's called, kidney-shaped scuttle plate. So I can quite comfortably, sorry, there you go, template like that. So this is the bottom bit, that is the bottom. I think that might work. So that's the plan anyway. So I'll cut through here, I'll template this part, square it off, offer it up, see how we get on. But seems a bit easier to me. Okay, so template looks okay-ish. Should we do some live lining up together? That'd be interesting. Or not. Depends if you like these videos. Right. Let's see if I can see this. I told you I bought a fancy. Oh, this is a fancy new tripod I've got. Right. So I think that should go there. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, Mr. So good. Oh, that is good. Oh, I'm really super duper pleased with that. Let's put a clamp on there and you can see Sorry, I'm trying to do everything one-handed. I mean, I could always put it down, couldn't I? I mean, that is an option. Oh, too much. Just too powerful. Right. There we are. Right, let's see what we are looking at. So, that's pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. Got to joggle out where the hinge is, which I've already talked about. And then it even lines up quite nicely through there. If you can see that. I'll turn the camera on so I can see what you're... Look. So that's pretty good. I was a bit worried about all this, to be honest with you. I thought this would be a bit of a nightmare, but... I mean, there's still time. I think I'm just going to weld straight into there, you know. That's nice and tight. And that is really tight as well. But I'm not going to do too much through here. I'm going to mainly tack this in because I don't want to assemble this too rigid. Otherwise, I'm going to, if I do have problems with the hinges, then I won't be able to do anything with it. So I think what I'm going to do is clean that all off, put a little bit of a benderoony. I mean, do I even need to really do that? I'll put a little benderoony in it for the seam here, so this comes in a bit neater. But generally, good. Good. Well, that's been wire brushed to an inch of its life. I've got a slight bend in there for the seam. It's not as neat as I wanted, but it's certainly better. Let's offer that up and maybe tack it into place now. Before I do that, I'm trying to learn. Preparation is key, isn't it? So I need to clean up all this paint here. Otherwise I'm not going to get a good weld. See? I'm learning. So I'll do that first. Well, that's now nicely cleaned up now. Put a few up, cleaned it up through there as well. So I can maybe just get a couple of welds in there to help secure it. And time to clamp the old plate on. So, well, guess what? I made a boo-boo. I joggled this seam the wrong way around, so the panel was sitting in rather than out. I wasn't very happy with it anyway, so I've been beating it. I don't obviously have all the equipment I could possibly want, but I've sort of used this bit of old angle I've got here, clamp that in. That's sort of 3 or 4 mils, all I'm really looking for. It's not even 3 mil by the looks of it. So I've bent that over, started hammering it, started using the square, but I couldn't quite get in there. So, you know, bolster, a brick bolster, that's what you use, isn't it? So, no, I've used that to try and get in there a little bit. I mean, it looks better, doesn't it? So let's see how this lines up together. Again, people, guess what? These are not hints and tips and pro advice on how to do bodywork in a car, believe it or not. This is just me scratching around in a garage, seeing how things go. So, let's have a look. This is all fresh to me. I mean, I might have bent it a bit too much, actually. Yeah, that's all right. Bit more bending to do, but I think we'll get that in there lovely. I'm quite pleased with that. So there you go. Pleased with that. Look at that. Looks pretty tight, isn't it? So this is where I come along and just totally balls it up with poor welding. I'm getting very good at that. So I'm not going to tack onto this seam because at some point soon, hopefully, this will be coming out. So I'm going to put a few tacks along the top, a few along the inner wheel arch, and a few along the bottom there. Might need to, yeah, need to hold that back. I've got some longer clamps that will reach that. I should be able to clamp that together. Okay, cool. So that, put a few tacks up there. That's kind of, well, it is clamped, isn't it? I'll probably tack it from this side. It's nice and clean. I can get to everything. It's near a spot weld that I put in. So I put a few tacks in this side. Seems to make a lot of sense. It's nice and back together quite nicely. So a couple in there. 1, 2, 3 probably. 1 there. And then 1 and a few along the top here. 1, 2, 3, and a couple in the bottom there. And that's pretty, then that'll all do for the time being. The reason I'm not going to go mad is I need to have a bit of wiggle room for the hinge post. This I'll go into it later, but I think a bit of flexibility through there's probably a good idea. So I'm going to start welding and see how we get on. All things considered, not a total disaster, which is always a good thing. Another few lessons learned. So I thought, oh, you know what? I'll weld from this side. It looks a bit easier. But of course, I haven't managed to clean the old metal inside here. So, of course, it burnt a hole straight through. Not the end of the world. I can tidy that up, but a bit frustrating. Didn't do too much on that side in the end. Mainly concentrated around here. This is totally raw. It's exactly what it is. But went over this area a few times because we had to weld the box seal into the extension of the vertical piece. Then we had to bring the scuttle plate down. That's where the hole is that I managed to burn through. Well done. But I've got a few half decent welds. I mean, that started to spatter. It's not pretty, but I mean, like I say, I haven't even sanded this down or done anything. I know I've got some decent penetration because I can see it through here. That's all that. So all in all, not a disaster. So the next thing to really think about is, what do I need to do next for putting this rest of the inner wing in? I need to cut bits and bobs out, but this is my last, once I put this inner wing in, everything's going to be closed off. So I need to consider very carefully what I'm doing through here, what I'm going to protect, what I'm going to put primer on, that kind of stuff. But first things first is really to measure up and start cutting out, I think. But generally, a relative success. As far as I can tell, really, I had to just make sure I got a little bit of a weld in through here, which I think's come out quite nicely. I've gone over these again. I mean, it's always going to be a bit of a mess, unfortunately. You can see where I've dialed things in a bit nicer here compared to the older ones, which would be like, well, I had to go over the top of it. But you can see it's improving. This is a mess. I really wish I took more time over this. Not too sure what I can do with it. If it causes problems with alignment, I might have to, cut it all out again. But I don't want to do that. We'll see. It's there, but it's rub. Bring this bit down, tidy this piece up here. Like I say, I'm going to weld that from the inside anyway. That was really just to hold it all in. I'm not going to do anything with this because it's welded very solidly in there. So yeah, that's the plan. Small bit of sanding down, I don't know, grinding down, and then I am really tempted to maybe make an alignment of the inner wing now. That'd be a massive step forward. So that's my plan. So a bit of sanding, I won't bother filming any of that, and then show what I'm doing with the wing. I'm going to have to sort of template it somehow. Don't forget, I've made this mock-up here of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So what I'd like to try and get in, because I have to. So if we work from the inside out, inside of the car out, so that's, if I was standing in the bonnet, looking out, that's what I'd see. So I have to do the inner wing first because everything fits onto it. So that's what I'm going to do. So it's a matter of finding that line there, and I think that is generally going to be the line that I'm going to keep. I can take dimensions off of the wing bolt positions and transpose them over to where that should be. But I'm going to set things up a little bit, scratch my head, and then show you what I'm up to. I've measured down from the centre of that bolt hole to where that cut is. So I've measured from here to here, which is there to there, which is 34 millimeters. That's a general cut all the way through to here, which is where I'm trying to get to really. That 34 I've moved over to here, to here. So this will be the cut I take to stitch onto there. This is the most complicated bit I've done, I think. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. A bit nervous about this because this sort of makes or breaks this corner of the car really with regards to whether the door will shut. Hey, if it doesn't shut, we won't fit the doors. We'll do like Twingo style. Not Twingo, Twizzy style. To have like a bar across. Actually, that'd be pretty cool. Mad Max. Just put some like frog eye lights on the front. Poking out. Yeah, it's going to be great. There you go, new build. No, we will try and do that properly. Tidied up down there, by the way. I've sanded, I've got to stop saying that. Grinded back that flat part of the inner wing. Still need to do a bit more tidying up, but I'll do that when I'm ready to weld. So, that's birds you can hear on the roof. Probably magpies. So, yeah, that's what I've done. So I think I need to cut. I'm not going to cut any more of that hinge out, I don't think yet. I don't think I need to do that yet. But I will start messing around and offering things up a little bit. Well, annoyingly, I cut, you can see just there at the beginning, alongside of the line. So that's annoying. Just need, you can see where the line is a little bit there. I need to just tidy that part up. That comes down a little bit. I don't think that'll be the end of the world because I've left plenty of meat there. So yeah, I need to start offering things up. And I also need to start cutting stuff out for that to happen. So let's go. Okay, so nice neat cut. Put it all the way in. It's lined up with where I need to re-weld anyway. So it should technically lift away. There's a little bit of that spot weld keeping it together. Look at that. Good. So this is quite exciting. It was nicer. Is that the last of the rock cut out on this side? Not including the chassis. I mean, that's a minor victory, isn't it? I mean, but I think it might be. So, whilst this camera's shaking, it means I'm trying to find the oh, there it is. So, let's see how this lines up, eh? Oh, I don't know why I do this to myself. I mean, it's just, you're just setting yourself up for ridicule, aren't you? But let's see. That joggle looks nice, doesn't it? I must say, look at that. It's good, isn't it? Right. Oh, it's bent in a bit. I don't think that's bent in. Oh, should it be bent in a little bit? Okay, ready for a laugh. I don't think this is going to fit. Right. Let me let's put this on a tripod and let's see if we can jiggle this a bit. There we are. Right. What can we do here? Yes, it's starting to make sense now. Maybe this vertical piece should be pushed back a little bit here, and then that would line up with that. All right, I'm going to turn the camera off and see what we can do. Might need to cut some welds out, which is a shame, but if we need to, we need to. Well, maybe it's not a total disaster after all. I mean, it's me just clamping it and messing around. I'm going to have to stop in a minute. I've been out here for hours now. So it turns out I did probably put a bit of a curve on the inside. Totally planned, just tricking you, of course. I knew exactly what I was doing. It seems to clamp up okay around there. Now, the bit I'm a bit worried about, which I kind of knew anyway, was how it's going to clamp together around here and tidy this part up. You can see there's quite a big curve coming in here. Maybe this does the other side where it does need some adjustment. I mean, I suppose the test would be to see how this lines up with it all. Maybe that's what I do. Just jig it all together. But you know, still, it's progress nevertheless. So pretty pleased with that, really. I mean, it's lined up nicely. I mean, you can see here that's really good. I've had to bend this part up just a little bit, just because it wasn't very crisp and it was all catching there. It's really, you know, it's not too bad really, is it? That could probably, at the top here, it could do with going back a little bit perhaps. So maybe lever it up here a little bit, push it back, tap that back probably. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it's progress nevertheless. So you can see here this hinge piece then goes over the front of this. They've done it, you can see factory, it was spot welded. I mean, not very neatly spot welded, maybe it was a Friday, but it was spot welds nevertheless. So that's something I've got to replicate. And that will give me a bit of adjustment through here. It's really making sure this wing lines up nicely, which it seems to drop down nicely. So yeah, I think that's it for the time being. I mean, that's, for me, pretty decent progress, if you ask me. I'm very pleased with how things have gone. Really pleased we've got that inner piece on. Obviously, actually, before I start going too crazy, in fact, I might do it now. I'll just spray that up with primer, so it's got some form of protection in there. Yeah, but all in all, we're chipping away at it, aren't we? Chipping away. So I need to, yeah, I think I need to, now's the time to step away. When I come back in a few days, I can reassess it again, and I won't be rushing, and I'll be a bit clearer in the mind of what I want to achieve. I think the next step is literally just to get that piece on. That's going to be quite a bit of messing around, to be honest with you. Maybe compare it on the other side, see how it looks. But you can't see really much of that because you can, you know, things are welded on top of it, so it's quite hard to judge. I mean, the bolt holes seem to line through. It could probably all do it coming this way a little bit, maybe. Again, that's not so critical. The bottom two bolts for the wing are slotted, so you've got loads of room. I think it was an inherent problem with them, even sort of from factory, is that this wing, the wing can clip the door when it opens and closes, so it gives you adjustment on that wing to pull it away from the hinge. He says, please don't listen to anything I'm saying. I'm just guessing that because I had similar problems years and years ago. So, but yeah, okay, I'm going to switch the camera off. That's probably going to be it. Thunderstorms have started rolling through, so probably time to get indoors with the family. So thank you very much.